Hello and welcome to Compliance Weekly, 21st May 2024. Let's start by walking through milestone board. Let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the first weekly, I think, after 17.1. So first one we have is add requirement level 2 standards adherence report.
Yeah, I just closed that as we're
Ah.
moving on with the custom standards configuration, which will overwrite needing a requirements level within the adherence report.
Okay. Next we have is show projects compliance information. I think it's a design issue.
Yeah, so I can talk through this one. So as part of the multiple compliance framework work that we're doing, it's a mouthful.
Okay.
We're allowing multiple compliance framework labels to be added to a project, but in the group overview and project overview page, we want to remove the labels that are next to the project names, as they start looking a little bit like labels rather than frameworks applied to them. So we're going to add a security icon, and then in the pop-up have more about the compliance framework that is attached to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, I have a very quick 2 cents. Just thought it. We might still want to have some indications that project has at least some compliance attached to it. I will miss it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. That's going to have a security icon, like a shield, next to the project name.
Okay.
And then in the
Great.
pop-up, it'll have the compliance framework information, and then if you have the role, then you'll be able to click through to the rest of it.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Next is also with Nate, compliance pipeline collisions.
Yes. So again, with the multiple compliance frameworks, one of the issues that we were looking at was what would happen with multiple compliance pipelines being added to a project. Hitesh has confirmed that the first added framework, and correct me if I'm wrong, Hitesh, the first added framework will be
it would be first added framework.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so the first added framework will be the compliance pipeline that runs. Any frameworks added to the project after that, their pipelines will not run, and we'll just document that.
Okay. Next is with me. It was a bug report. Archive does not show. Yeah, so I just try to reproduce, but turns out our project archive audit event is being generated. So we just close the issue. Next is the rollout feature of feature flag compliance framework works report CSV export. I think it's completed now. Yep, so cleanup is done. Next is with Nate, drawer spacing and alignment for compliance framework visual update.
Yes, in the compliance framework report in the drawer, there was some visual updates that needed to happen, just some small things like the cutoff and the margins and things like that. So that's all been fixed now.
Could add a UI polish label to that. It's being tracked.
Next is with Josefa, unrelated group audit events logged when a change to group's general setting is made.
I didn't work anything on this one. This is, I assume, like whenever a new group is created and we change one of the settings, we do get multiple audit events. I also tagged you, Harsimer, to correct me if it's the case.
I think because we are auditing columns here, so whenever new API or new group is added, bunch of things does change. So
Yeah. That's the way
That's what.
we implemented the changes auditor. Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
through every field that can be
Yeah.
changed and creates an audit event for
So I
everyone.
just added that comment and we just closed that. So
Yeah.
it was not a bug, it was a feature.
Yes.
So next is audit event for allowed to push and merge with Nate.
Oh yes, this was just the name of the audit event was, well, not the name of the audit event. The description of the audit event wasn't quite as accurate, so it's just updated to. Yeah.
I think this one is
And-
the same we discussed
Yeah,
earlier.
just more visual UI polish.
Okay. Next is confidential. And anyone else wants to discuss any issue here? All right, moving on to planning. First one is with Josefa.
I am still working on this one, like thinking on the on the plans. Still don't have a very solid plan out yet. Once I have everything, I'll comment out in the technical planning issue.
Next is with you, Hitesh.
So I created first MR for this for migrations in the compliance framework project settings table. There was no ID field in that table, so I have added that as well as added a unique constraint and working on the second MR for this.
Next is with Sam.
Yes. Haven't really started on this, but I just want to say thanks for starting that walkthrough, Azaifa, on the Snowflake connector. And I think we're going to do another one this week. So if anyone wants to join, keep a head out for that.
Yeah, I was planning if you and Harsimar are available today, we can just do it after this call or maybe a couple of minutes after this call.
Is
Right.
it worth recording for the rest of us?
We can record, but I'm not sure if it's worth recording or not. But yeah, definitely no harm in recording.
Yes.
It was a very casual call and things going wrong as well in between.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Next is compliance pipeline to security policy migration with
Yes,
Sam.
that's also me. Yes, there hasn't been progress on that this week. Yeah.
Okay, so next is with me, sales compliance database table work. So in this, we are trying to split the audit events table into 4 separate ones, MR for which is ready and in final review stages. Hopefully it should be merged by this week and then we can move on to migration of the actual data.
I just want to call out here, like Harsiman added the event name also to the table names. I really like that because then we will be able to like easily filter out by event names on the dashboards. So that would be really nice.
That's great. Earlier we had to check streamed this audit events for the event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, there was one community contribution also, Sam and I was reviewing, in which they were trying to add the event name in
Yeah,
details.
it makes sense to add that. So and
Yeah.
keeping it as a separate, we'll be easily able to like add an index on that. And it's like since it's a unique set of values, indexing would be very good on that.
Yeah. Next is with Hitesh, consolidation of tables for streaming audit event.
Right now, there's nothing on this. I'm focusing on the multiple compliance frameworks.
All right. Comprehensive audit log with Nate.
Yes, things are continuing there. Issues in progress.
Yeah,
Lily,
and
next
for
will be-
me, yeah, not much update here because I was distracted by some related but not the same. But yeah, still intended to plan to release this milestone.
All right. Next on agenda is we have few updates. First with Nate. Retro time.
Yes, yeah, just please get your thoughts and with 17.0 finished. Get all your thoughts and yeah, musings in to the retro. The next one was the multiple framework plan. So there's been a big discussion between myself, Hitesh, and Ilya. And I just wanted to consolidate that probably in this meeting to make sure that everyone's on the same page. I caught up with Ilya, and the thought now is to document that the current mutation will work similarly but very slightly differently, deprecate it, and create new mutations. Sorry, it's late for me. But yeah, I just wanted to get feedback from anyone else or questions.
How would the existing API behave differently now? Like, will it remove all the existing frameworks when we unset?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so currently what it does is if you pass it a framework ID, it removes the current one and adds the
Yeah, it replaces the one, and if you don't pass anything, it just removes it.
Yeah, so what it'll do, if it has multiple on it, then it'll remove all and add the new one. So it's just a replace.
Okay.
This is for the new mutation, right?
For the existing one.
This is for the existing one. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically,
Okay,
we're
so it
changing
will
the behavior.
it will remove all and apply just one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I just had a thought. Why don't I believe that this will not be a breaking change, that we can raise an error actually for old mutation if there are multiple compliance labels attached, and provide an information like, hey, use the new mutation. And in that case, it will not break behavior for existing users if someone touches something via UI, like you, Nathan, said, which was actually our concern. They will receive an informed answer because, and we are like reducing even more blast radius.
But if I'm not wrong, I think first API used to find or replace, create or replace, Hitesh, right?
Yes.
So
It
yeah,
will
it's like
create,
behavior
update, and
change.
delete.
Yeah, we will switch UI to new mutation. Like we will introduce new mutation which behaves like in our expected way, like we want. We just like when someone tries to use our old mutation on a framework which has multiple labels already attached, we will throw an error and say, hey, this is like not the way it will not work, use other mutation. Our UI will never use obviously deprecated current one mutation. It is just like for GraphQL API consumers. It will not be a breaking change for from GraphQL perspective at all. But and also this will allow users to receive like to make sure that they will not silently break anything if someone touches a compliance framework both via UI and via API.
But then again, if you're giving back the message, you'll be sending that as an error message, right? It won't be a successful response. So anyone,
obviously.
So anyone checking out for errors and then just like not checking out the actual error and just believing like the mutation failed, they'll just retry or do stuff if things are being done via automation, which would be the case probably if they're using APIs.
Yeah, and wouldn't this be a behavior change that earlier we were used to not throw any error, but now we are throwing a error? Earlier we used to update or replace, right?
Well, theoretically, any mutation can raise errors. So,
and there was no multiple frameworks before.
Yeah.
So act the same. So if there's one framework, it'll replace.
And also regarding retrying on errors, this is definitely not the strategy we would like to tolerate, like blindly to encourage people to blindly retry something, even if just because it reports an error.
Yeah, or probably they would face like in earlier things were working fine, and now my like either my task or my pipeline or something is breaking because of a change from at our end.
Yeah, but basically it will wreck only if someone attached something via UI or via new mutations.
Yeah,
so it's like should be very small blast radius of such breaking change.
So in that case, if I understand correctly, if they don't touch anything via the UI and they have an existing compliance framework on their project and they use the existing API, we won't append the new framework. We'll still replace the framework as okay.
It's just like, I think this is the best because it will allow, it solves the problems that API consumers should receive an information about potentially destructive destructive actions, which is setting an framework on a thing which already has multiple frameworks. It is like potentially destructive, and we want to know, and it's a good scenario, and as said, it will not be a breaking change from GraphQL perspective. As Nate said, we previously had no multiple frameworks.
Yeah.
I just don't want to force anyone to read either docs or changelogs. It's like my major pain point. I hate when someone forces me to read docs or read changelogs.
All right. Next, we have a point from Sam.
Yes, I added the MR to the process change for our weekly status updates on the milestone plan. So feel free to chime in there if you haven't yet, or just +1 if you agree. I'll try to set a deadline for feedback, and then yeah, but I wanted to give everyone a heads up first.
Okay. Next with Josefa. Okay. He says we should probably filter out confidential issues. Yeah. While going through the milestone board, I think makes sense. So we can update the link.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. So everyone way back to the camera, and I can stop recording.
I think it's fine for